The starter joins. They probably don't expect the game to be of any interest. Or, if they come from another find the game, they probably wonder how they could fit 968 Chomiks in one game. They question what Chomiks are. But they wander and find a bunch of these things anyway. The player stays near the spawn area, finding the easies and mediums. They will usually begin to notice out of the ordinary stuff, and maybe they will use that to give themselves more of these Chomiks. Depending on the player's past experience, they might begin to do some light obbying. This is obviously an important skill that they will need to keep if they really do want to keep finding more of these things. The player will also find other inconsistencies, but they probably won't have enough knowledge to be able to use what they discovered. Towards the end of this phase, the player will be able to recognize slight details and secrets and be able to make connections and patterns. However, most of the time they will not know how to proceed and will stay stuck there. But I mean, you can't really blame them. After all, they are just being starters. All these guys are doing is getting an overall feel to the game. They'll discover stuff, but they won't know how to proceed after doing what they did. This player usually ends off the phase with easies, mediums, and maybe 1 or 2 hards. Oh wait, what's that? This player feels free. They continue to find secrets, Chomiks, and they usually stumble upon their first realm. The player is much more curious now, but more importantly, they feel how the game can hide about 1,000 Chomiks. Although it is worth noting that if this first realm is backrooms, they will probably leave immediately. Although besides that, they keep searching. They can move farther than the spawn area and they find more areas in Chomiks. There isn't much to say though, so let's move on. This player is now ready to tackle some puzzles on their own. Like as in my example, here this player can recognize that this is a YouTube link. This can help them start getting more and more complex Chomiks. This means that they could probably get their first extreme around this time. Besides that, the player now can do obbies much better. They can put themselves to get hard obby-based Chomiks, but some will remain too hard. The player will even try to cheese some of these, maybe successful or maybe failure. Like here, poor alt test subject 0001 is trying to cheese glitch Chomik. But it's a shame, because now is the time we have to say bye to alt test subject, because eventually, while the puzzle master will stick to puzzles, it will, like most things, get too hard. Random keypads like this one with no clear puzzle in sight. This one too, it's a hidden keypad and I think it's already a challenge enough to find this one. And then there's this big guy, this monstrosity. Like you won't even have a hint or a clue to tell you where to start. But luckily, you have a tool that you haven't used until now. There really isn't much to say about this section. Usually this leads to the player having a bunch of extremes and terrifyings that are purely puzzle-based. Names like Levitator Levi and Pro Chomik become easy common names towards getting a hard Chomik. And that also means that for stupid folk like me, we are getting our first Obama. In fact, we are getting Not HCOM, a Chomik based off of a puzzle website where the only thing you need to actually do is to insert the code into Hearing Trash. I mean, the gameplay you are watching is showing me recollecting Not HCOM like it's easy difficulty with a tutorial. Here, for fun I decided to try and actually do the whole thing. And I got stuck at stage 6, which is good enough for me. Like this challenge gets harder and harder. I know some people say that this one Chomik is arguably harder than everything Chomik, but to actually get it all you need to do is what I just did. I am running out of stuff to say though. Back to the actual video, this is when those final mediums are finally collected. And besides the mediums, if you haven't already had the idea, this is when you realize the game is actually gonna take ages. I mean, here is a Chomik in which there's no way you'll know how to get without a tutorial. This is for Chomik, which is a terrifying because it doesn't have any hint on location at all anywhere. However, anyone could get this Chomik easily with a tutorial. I mean, the chances anyone would check the Chomik to be in this specific spot is very, very low. But it's very easy to get because you just have to go through the invisible wall. And there we go. Yeah, I think this one will get you a solid number of Chomiks, and I think it would be fine to stop playing the game here. Because YouTube tutorials are not getting you all the way to the end. You will need YouTube tutorials along with something else. Actual skill. And this, my friends, brings us to the final stage of every Find the Chomiks player. I think you guys mostly get this final section. All this is the final stretch of obbies and skill requiring madness. This is the challenges that the puzzles didn't cover. This is where collecting the Chomik actually matches the difficulty. I say obby, but I really mean anything that requires skill. If you didn't get glitch Chomik in the first or second stage, this is where you get it. Thanks for watching.